Hey students, I'm back and we're going to pick up where we left off in completing assignment number 2. So in our last video, we left off formulating our answer for question number 1. Let me just recap for you guys so that you can understand why there are some things that are colored and underlined over here. So it's important to note that in order to answer a question, you have to have evidence from your text that supports your answer and lets me know how you found the correct answer. Right? You can't just say, this is what I think, or give me an opinion, right? You're giving me actual evidence from the text. So what I did was I color-coded each of these questions so that when you go back up here into the article that I copied and pasted from the website, you can see the corresponding textual evidence that is the same color as the question, which shows where I got my answer from. So just to review, we're answering question number 1, which states, what are some of the reasons that students drop out of class in Boulège, Guatemala? So I already formulated my sentence stem. Some of the reasons that students drop out of class in Boulège, Guatemala are, so that's kind of the beginning. I restated the question here, and now I'm going to write my answer in a complete sentence. So let me just go back and take a look at my textual evidence from the top of the article. So the first reason I selected was because they leave with their parents for the United States, because that's what the text states. It states that Valdemar Garcia left with his father for the United States, okay? Second reason says it's common for parents to pull kids out of school to help in the fields. And my third reason is that students stop going to school because there's no money, right? And so when there's no money, they have to help out at home. That's what it says she's doing, right? She's taking care of her siblings. Okay, so let me go back to my answer for number 1. Some of the reasons that students drop out of class in Boulège, Guatemala are they go to the United States with their parents, they have to work in fields, or there is no money and they have to remain home to care for their siblings. So notice I have multiple reasons because the question asks for some, not just one. And I have a complete sentence here, and I use the stem from the question, okay? This is blue because it's not proper. So let me see, when I right click it, it tells me the word should be they, not the. So I'm going to correct that, right? So my answer says, some of the reasons that students drop out of class in Boulège, Guatemala are they go to the United States with their parents, they have to work in fields, or there is no money and they have to remain home to care for their siblings. So I've answered question number 1 correctly. I'm going to walk you guys through question number 2, and then I'll explain the expectations for submitting a complete assignment number 2 into Schoology for grading and assignment credit. Question number 2 states, how many refugees arriving at the U.S.-Mexico border are from Guatemala? So I'm looking for a number because it says how many, okay? So when I go back up to my article, I'm looking for numbers. I'm going to go back to the top. Okay, paragraph 1, no numbers yet. Okay, I see here in paragraph 4 there are some numbers. Let's see what it says. Since October 2016, more than 660,000 parents traveling with their children and unaccompanied minors have turned themselves in to Border Patrol agents along the southwest border. So this has to do with question number 2. And I think my question number 2 is orange. So I'm going to highlight this textual evidence orange because this has to do with question number 2. So this is how many people are at the border, but I think my question asks something else. It asks how many of those people are from Guatemala specifically. So I have to keep reading to see what the article says about the people from Guatemala. So 660,000 people total. It says more than 100,000 others have presented themselves at ports of entry in just the last 2 years. About 40% of them are from Guatemala. comprising the largest single group. So this looks like it's a part of my answer for question number 2 as well, 40%. Now I need to go down to my questions and I need to formulate my answer in a complete sentence. Okay, so here it says how many refugees arriving at the U.S.-Mexico border are from Guatemala. So the article said 660,000 total, but 40% are from Guatemala. So let me see how I want to formulate that in a complete sentence. So I'm going to say of the total 660,000 refugees arriving at the U.S.-Mexico border, 40% of them are from Guatemala. Okay. Now I've got my answer in a complete sentence here. So what you're going to do for the remainder of Article 1 is you're going to continue that same process of going back into the article and finding the answers to these questions. Remember, you have some keywords that are underlined so that you look for them in the article and they'll help you get close to the answer. You're going to type your answer here in these boxes, and then you're going to do this same process again for article number 2. So remember, you got to copy and paste the article here, and then you have to color code your questions, begin answering your questions, and you have to write your answers in a complete sentence. This one is a little bit different, so I'm going to show you because this article is a PDF. It's not a link. So when you click on the Passports to the American Dream, Mounting Debt, Few Opportunities Keep Guatemalans Coming. It's going to take you to this link. You'll open it here and see this is a PDF. So it's not an actual website, but you can still copy and paste. So here I'm going to copy the text from the article. It's a little bit easier to copy on something that's not a website because there's nothing in the sidebars. So I'm going to keep, so I'll copy that page. It stops scrolling down. So I'm going to copy, try that one more time. So I'm going to go back to the top. I'm going to copy everything all the way down to page 3. Okay, then I'm going to right click, I'm going to select copy, and then I'm going to go back to my assignment, and I'm going to put my cursor in between, right here. I'm going to put it in between the article title and my questions, and then I'm going to right click, and I'm going to select paste. Let me try and see what happens if I do paste without formatting. Okay, so I got a couple of options. So this, I would select paste without formatting because it makes it a little bit easier to understand. So let's see what happens when I fix my alignment. Remember, because I don't like things to be centered. So I'm going to select it all again while it's in this document. Oh, I went too far down. Okay, select it all. I'm going to go back up here to my Align tab, and I'm going to do left alignment. Here you can still see where your paragraphs are, but you may need to kind of clean it up a little bit. So notice where there's a break. That lets you know there's paragraph changes. And you can go back and check the article so that you can see the breaks as well. So here, right, the first paragraph is inequality and poverty. It starts with that and it ends with conflicts. So I'm going to go back to my document and I'm going to make my breaks the same. So you see there's a break there. I'll go back to the document. My next break is after quarters, after population, after potholes. So sometimes it's easy. Sometimes it requires a lot of back and forth just to get organized to be able to complete the assignment. Food, U.S. North. So you're going to do this all the way through. The document. Let's see where that break is. Is that husband? So we got challenging. Karina Domingo. I didn't want to be a part. Okay. Save it's right here. So I'm putting in all of my breaks so that I can number my paragraphs and navigate the copied article better. Okay. And then remember, you just go through and you number the paragraphs where there are breaks. That's going to format. I don't want that to happen, so I'm going to go up here and I'm going to select undo, and so it won't happen again. Do that again. It might do something weird like this. If it does, you can just go right back like that. Let me see if that's actually capitalized in the article. So you see that capitalized because it went to the next line, but here it's not capital. So this is all just kind of formatting and organization, right? I like for things to be nice and neat, so I do all of these small steps, and they help me to complete my assignments more efficiently, okay? So you're just gonna go through, clean up the article that you've pasted. You see how it's continuing to kind of break, so you may have to continue to just delete that space and make the appropriate adjustments to the document, okay? So I'm just going through, numbering. After that, you're going to select your colors for your questions. You can use the same colors again, right? Number 1 can still be light red. Number 2 can still be light orange. You have options. If you want to change it, you can change it. That's up to you. You can also still add the numbers in here to your answers just to make your document nice and organized and structured. Okay. Once you do that, remember your textual evidence is going to be the same color as your question, and you'll come and write your answer here in a complete sentence, okay? So that is how that works. I'm going to show you in my next video how to save a document so that when you go into Schoology, you have a document that you can easily attach or upload. And so that's going to be in my next video. Stay tuned.